Welcome to the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a sellout again for Supercross at its very best. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 11 of the U.S. Supercross Series. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey. Tonight, Mike LaRocco sees a little bit of light at the end of the title chase. He's only 16 points in back of Jeremy McGrath now, and he's coming off his second victory of the season, David.
Well, things couldn't go much better for LaRocco than they have. He's had 2 weeks to savor that last win, and he's the defending champion here in Charlotte. Very confident, and he showed us that in practice already. He looks very smooth and relaxed.
LaRocco's gotten some help from other riders as well, as Brian Swink, Mike Kudrowski, Michael Craig, all finished in front of McGrath.
Well, when McGrath has a bad night, he slides way back and it allows other guys to slide in there. And Mike Craig and Brian Swink rode fantastic in the last round, and I hope that can continue.
Speaking of title chases, we might see a #1 plate handed out tonight to a Frenchman named Mikel Pichon.
Well, I like this kid, and you know, he's a lot like Jean-Michel Bayle in terms of coming from France and dominating here in the United States, but he's more personable, a little less stubborn, and well received. He only needs 10 points to clinch that title, and I think he can do it.
Smallest track on the circuit. Let's take a look at our Suzuki track map.
The lap times will be considerably less than what we've seen so far this season, and you see a long whoop section up there next to the starting line. Riders are going to be blitzing through there. The guys that are the toughest tonight will prevail.
The third member of our broadcast crew, Marty Reed, is in the pits.
Art, as we get ready for tonight's 125 main, we can talk a little bit about the fact that they have changed the layout of the track, the technical side of it. The last 3 races, the feedback has been it's been too tough, and the teams that don't have the high budgets to do a lot of testing have felt that they're at a disadvantage. But don't think that the relief they've gotten here tonight makes this an easy layout. It's very tight here in Charlotte, and remember, we're in the land of NASCAR, where rubbing is racing, except these guys are doing it without fenders.
The #1 plate in the East in the 125s is on the line for this young man, Mikel Pichon, when we come back. This edition of ESPN Speed World is brought to you by Honda, defending champions and holders of the past 7 consecutive Supercross titles. Honda, come ride with us. And by Suzuki. Right now, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it.
This is a 1-800-COLLECT call.
Hey, this is your son, Jeremy. Your son, Jeremy. Trying to be funny? I've been eating pretty good. Doug and I were just hanging out. Cheese. I'm not an actor. What am I doing? Jeff's doing good. He says to say hi. Hi, Dad. Steve says to say hi. Hi, Mom and Dad. Say what? I think we're going to take it tonight. No, I'd rather have it on your bill than mine. I'm getting ready to go race right now. Mom, guess what? We just won the championship again.
Getting ready for the start of the 125 main. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Number 26, Mike Brown from Gray, Tennessee. That's about as close to Charlotte, North Carolina as you can get. Also, Jim Chester's a local rider out of North Carolina, number 97. What's going through Pichon's mind right now, David?
Well, he only needs 10 points to capture his first Supercross title, and I think he's probably just going to have to play it safe out there. He doesn't really impress me as a fast starter. He always comes from behind, and I think there's plenty of time for him to pick up those points tonight.
He likes to relax, get a feel for the track before putting the target zone on the top competitors. Pichon coming off a win at Pontiac, his 3rd win of the year. He's only missed the podium once, and that was a 4th place in Houston. You see number 101 right next to Mike Brown, number 26 at the starting gate. And one thing, David, about Charlotte, North Carolina, we got some great fans here.
We sure do, and I can't help but remember a few years back when Damon Bradshaw, their hometown favorite, gave him what they paid for. Very enthusiastic crowd on hand.
Just about set now. Mikel Pichon right in the middle of our screen along with Mike Brown. They should be the ones to look at as they get set now, starting to rev up the machines, and the gate goes down. Andre Penny, number 614, with an outstanding start along with Mike Brown. Roy is up there as well. Pichon is in 7th place. Richardson and Maximoff go off the track on the first turn. Our Honda track cam is right at the end of one of the big triples. It's Andre Panay out in front. Number 78 is Roy.
Look at all the scrapping going on right there. Roy getting bumped around, and Mike Brown does the triple and takes the lead.
Mike Brown has taken the lead. The Honda Troy rider who did so well in his last race. He led for the first 12 laps at Pontiac before fading to second. I shouldn't say fade, really, because he came off a 3-week hiatus with a bad injury in the chest.
Right, we mentioned that about a dozen times in Pontiac. I'm going to go ahead and take one more right here. But it's very difficult to come back from an injury and get your timing and get used to riding amongst all these riders in this competition. But he got the start he needed tonight.
Mike Brown into the long whoop section. Moving into second place is Davey Yesick, and Panay in third as we go to our Honda jump cam. And look at that fantastic triple jump. Yesick does not take the triple. Neither does Panay. And Jeff Nutter, Mike Brown's mechanic, all thumbs up, David.
Well, Brown's the only one doing the triple right now. That should help him open up a comfortable lead.
Let's take a look at the Suzuki Field Summary. We'll be back with more 125 action in a moment. We're back in Charlotte. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Marty Reed with 125 main event action. We're looking right now at Mikel Pichon. Now, Mikel has moved from 7th place up and is really threatening to get into the top 3 right now as we see action back with Andre Panay. 101, Pichon.
I love watching Pichon ride through that whoop section there. Just perfect timing. Everywhere this kid sets the bike exactly where he needs it to be. And that's why he just looks so effortless out there.
Mike Brown, our leader. Davey Yesick in second. Pichon is gunning for third. The Frenchman's mechanic is from New Zealand, and Marty Reed is with him now.
Andy, does he have enough time? Does he have enough left?
Yeah, I think he's just got a little bit of a bad start. It wasn't so bad, but he always starts off kind of slow and takes him a little bit to get into the pace of it. Mike Brown's been injured lately, so he'll probably get tired. So, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem if he doesn't make any mistakes.
It definitely looks like he's cutting into the lead.
Yeah, I think he can do it. No problem.
We're back with our leader, Mike Brown. Look at him through the whoop section. He's pulling the front end up quite a bit higher than what we saw Pichon doing earlier. Pichon relying more on timing, and Brown doing it with strength.
Boy, Brown showed strength right there going through the Honda track cam. And here's Pichon. He's picking up time doing the triple as well. James Dobb, who had a tremendous run. Bad start for James. He started in 17th, was running in 5th, and had to pull out of the race. Maybe problems with number 16, the bike right in back of him.
Yeah, it seems odd. He looks healthy enough right there that he wouldn't have to pull out of that race. Probably some kind of a mechanical.
Pichon now making his move toward Davey Yesick, number 37. Mikel. He's not satisfied with just getting points in the championship. The number 1 plate at the end of this race. He wants 2nd place right now. Over the finish line jump. Mikel making his move on number 37.
Pretty nice move around the outside. That's pretty demoralizing for anybody. When you're getting passed on the outside, that guy's got to be going quite a bit quicker. And Pichon gaining time on the leader now.
Pichon in 2nd place. Yesick not ready to give up yet. Pichon about 3 seconds behind the leader, Mike Brown, as we take another look at the pass.
All right, well, here's in a reverse angle. Pichon just carrying a lot more momentum. You see how aggressive he is around the outside like that, and wasn't really anything that Yesick did wrong. Pichon's just going that much faster.
Back to live action now. Mike Brown, number 26, with a fairly good lead. Greg Rand has hit the deck, and he's right over near the starting gate, all wrapped up with the banners.
Well, he sure has a lot of help getting going again. You know, I don't remember having that much help when I fell down. Look at all those guys.
Greg Rand from Hillsboro, Ohio. As we take a look at the Suzuki Field Summary, it's Mike Brown in the lead with Pichon on the move. Back to Charlotte, North Carolina in a moment. Welcome back to Charlotte, the 125 main. It's Mike Brown from Gray, Tennessee out in front. Mikel Pichon, though, is closing the gap in 2nd place as we take a look at the Honda stopwatch and get us an interval. Oh, my goodness gracious, Pichon cased it so hard.
And he looks hurt. He's slowed almost to a... Almost looks like he's going to pull over. He didn't even come close to doing that triple. A terrible impact in the face of that jump.
As we see the other riders come through our Honda stopwatch for the interval times, Yesick has now moved into 2nd place in front of Pichon. The question is, can he stay in the race? Can he fight through the pain? He hit it awfully hard.
Well, it looks bad right now. He doesn't look too comfortable. I think a lot of times you can regroup. I've never seen anyone take quite that bad of an impact before and recover from it.
And he didn't go down, David. That was the big factor.
That's amazing that he stayed up. It looked like his face went into the handlebars, both his wrists. I mean, I can't even imagine how much that must have hurt.
Pichon needing an 11th place to get the number 1 plate as we see the interval. It's only a 50-second lap time.
pretty short compared to usual as we look at Mike Brown, who just keeps circulating, riding a smooth pace. Now he doesn't have Pichon breathing down his neck and possibly can pick up his first win. I don't want to do this to you, but we're going to take another look at this impact by Pichon. Cover your children's eyes. Bam! Into the face of that jump. Look at the impact from his head.
It's a good reason to have a chest protector on. Well,
it's a good reason to have a full face helmet, too. Otherwise, he'd have taken a bite out of that crossbar. And right now, he's looking over at his mechanic like, oh, my wrists.
He had a right wrist operated on, David, just 6 months ago and has recuperated well from that surgery. But, boy, something like that could pull it apart.
Well, he's still out there, and he's able to do a couple little jumps right there. You can see he's slowed for the finish line jump, not wanting to do that impact. And possibly there was a rider down. He seems to have recovered pretty well, and he's got a decent lead over the rest of the field. Although he is in third place, it's going to be tough for him to drop all the way back past 11.
Throughout the season, Mikkel has shown us his charm. Well, right now, he's showing us how tough he can be. He's a wonderful young man. I got a chance to sit down and talk with him earlier. He arrived on the scene for 3 races back in '93. You could tell back in 1993, that smiling 16-year-old from a small town near Le Mans, if given the chance for a full Supercross season in the U.S., he'd be back for more.
When I am in San Diego Stadium, it's very impressive. In France, we have a little stadium, but very little, and the track are very small.
Ou il aurait bien rasé un peu, non? Je sais pas.
Si jamais ils ont rasé, je vais essayer de faire fait. My dad rode when he was young. He's like my dad, but sometimes he's like my brother because we do everything together. If I want to go running, come with me. If I want to go skiing, come with me. Everything I do is with me. My mom can't come because I have a little sister and she has to go to school.
It's same on top, but instead of rounding off a lot, this one is very smooth.
Like Pedro Gonzalez of Mexico last year, Mikkel is having to learn English completely as he goes.
The biggest problem with us was if we were testing, he can speak English, but when it came to testing terms, whether the bike was leaner, softer, harder, too rich, tires weren't hooking up. Still got that bump in front of the triples. I don't have to jump the first turn before.
It was very difficult at the beginning, but now it's much better. It's easier for me to speak with my mechanics, with somebody in the team, but for the interview, it's pretty hard.
One thing Mikkel has accomplished without the spoken word, he is becoming a fan favorite. He respects fellow countryman Jean-Michel Bayle, but wishes not to be compared with him.
Here, the people are very good with me. I was very surprised because Jean-Michel Bayle said the American fans are very bad, and Bayle was a good rider, but he did nothing for the people, so you have to go to the people. No, the people can come with you, to you.
Mikkel's smile broadcasts his happiness. He loves his work, loves the weather here, loves large stadiums and fans. Plus,
rollerblade, yeah. And I try that, and it's very cool. So I go shopping with that, and it's very cool. It's the first time I try that, and so I crash a lot of time, but now I'm pretty good now.
For the young man who enjoys flying bikes through the air and rollerblading in the swimming pools, what is his biggest fear?
Flying, no. I hate. I'm afraid every time, all the time, because and I dream also. When I sleep sometimes, because I dream I crash with flies, but all the time I prefer truck.
Pichon has a good work ethic, professionalism, and outstanding technique. He knows, however, getting stronger is essential for collecting on his hopes and dreams.
My dream is to stay here for 4 or 5 years, maybe more if I can, if Kawasaki wants me more. But I would like to go in a big truck Kawasaki, maybe in 2 years or 3 years. It's my dream.
Those factory guys in the big truck better start getting a locker ready for this fun-loving, flying Frenchman. But, David, I told you he was quite a guy.
Oh, he is. He's quite a guy and quite a rider. Right now, really gutsy performance by this kid. Obviously in a lot of pain. He's looked like considered pulling off. And he could. There's a couple races left where he could wrap this thing up, but I think he wants to put a close on it. And
of course, it depends on what's wrong with that wrist or arm, too, whether he would have another chance to go out there again.
That's true. Sometimes your adrenaline and everything can get you through something that later you just look back and go, how the heck did I do that? But I think he'll be happy with the outcome tonight. He's going to probably be a champion.
Here's our second place rider, number 37, Davey Jezik. Mike Brown way out in front right now. But number 101 really showing us what he's he's made of not letting the fourth-place rider Barry Karsten catch up with him. Paul Curry's got the hay bale cover in the chain.
I've seen Paul Curry ride some local races in Florida. An excellent rider, pretty young. I think he has a bright future, but not with the hay bale stuck in his swing arm.
Here's our leader, number 26, Mike Brown, just going through the motions really as he heads toward the checkered flag. This would be his first victory of the year. He had one victory last year. That was at Indianapolis. But this season, he's come back from 3 weeks off of a chest injury to take a second place, and now a victory for Mike Brown. The top 6 didn't change for the last 8 laps. David Yezik in second place. But our real story is the third-place finisher coming around, Mikel Pichon, who will take that #1 plate here tonight.
A painful performance, but one worthwhile. First season over here in the Supercross, and he picks up the championship. Nice ride for Pichon.
You can see he's still favoring that right arm or wrist. It was that wrist that was operated on some 6 months ago. Mikel Pichon, the champion. As we take a look at the Suzuki Series point standings, Pichon with the insurmountable 57-point lead on the injured Kevin Windham. Tim Ferry also injured, so opportunity reigns in the next 2 races for Davey Yezik and Mike Brown. Marty Reed's catching up with Mikel right now.
Mikel, I know you're not feeling well. Is it the right wrist?
Yeah, it's all right, but you know, this wrist, I broken this wrist last year, and it was not very well before the race, and I have a problem with this wrist with 6 months, and I didn't pass the 3rd gear before the triple, and I landed too short, and I believed it was broken, but I feel pretty good, but I don't know what is it exactly.
So you think it's broken right now?
No, maybe just I don't know what you said, just cracks.
Well, it was a gutsy ride. Congratulations on a gutsy 3rd place.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Taking a look at our final results, Mike Brown, of course, the winner. Yezik 2nd, Karsten 4th, Nice 5th. Maximoff rounding out the top 10. Marty Reed is with our 2nd place finisher, Davey Yezik.
Well, I know, they always say 2nd place, you don't want to be there. You want to be 1st, but it was still a good, strong ride for you.
Yeah, I haven't had too many podiums this year, and I'm happy just to get on a podium. Mike rode a hell of a race, and I plain out couldn't catch him. He wore me out, but, I gave it the best I had, and 2nd will have to settle for tonight.
Now, this is a tough track to pass because it's so darn tight.
Yeah, it's tough to pass, but Mike, he just plain out beat me from the start to the finish, and there's no excuses. He just plain whooped my butt.
Outstanding ride for this young man, number 26, Mike Brown, who showed his stuff in the outdoor scene before really maturing as a Supercross rider.
Down here with 125 winner Mike Brown, and Mike, after the injury and coming back and really fading at Pontiac because you just weren't in great shape. What a great win for you tonight.
Yeah, this is the closest home as it gets, and I got a good start there and hung on and wanted to win it really bad. And first one this year, and I think it'll help me for the next 2 races I got left.
You really seem to be in control of the race. And we talked to your crew chief, Jeff Nutter, all the way, and he just kept reminding you, ride your race, and you certainly did.
Yeah, I kept putting it in my head. I'd get all tensed up, and he'd come back around, he'd help me out, ride my race, and I think the whole lap, and it just helped me out a lot. My arms didn't get pumped up like they did at Michigan. I felt good the whole race, and I could have had some more if I had some challenge. I think I had a little bit faster lap times in me.
Had it been 80 degrees throughout like it was here in the day, would that have hurt you?
No, that's what I've been riding in all week. I don't live 2 or 3 hours from here, and it's been humid like this all week, 80 to 85, and rode every day in the hottest time of day, and it's helped me out a lot.
Congratulations on a great win.
All right, thanks. I want to thank Hondo Troy and my mechanic Jeff Nutter for getting me here.
#1 plate to Mikel
Roy
Pichon.
Jensen, director of the U.S. Supercross Series.
Well, Mikel, again, welcome to America. On behalf of these thousands of fans here in Charlotte, the greatest motorsports fans in America, it is our pleasure to give you this #1 plate. You've done a fantastic job this year. Congratulations. I know your arm hurts. I know you need to get to the ambulance, but thank you and congratulations. Thanks, Roy. What do you got to say there, Mikel?
I would like to thank Pro Circuit and Kawasaki and Fleetfire, and I'm very happy, and I hope to win lots of titles like this.
Public address announcer Larry Myers with Mikel. An example of how the joys of his first Supercross championship and his first full U.S. season can wipe away the tears of pain. The 250 Superstars coming up next from Charlotte, North Carolina. On the a flashback from Charlotte, North Carolina. The year is 1994. Doug Henry, LaRocco, Emig, good starts, but Jeremy McGrath was back in the pack.
Look at him right there on the outside, getting sandwiched, nowhere to go. Swink also goes down. A bunch of riders go down, and McGrath has his work cut out as Doug Henry took the early lead.
Number 7, here comes Mike LaRocco. Number 11 is Larry Ward, as the track was a lot more technical last year, but just as slick, as we'll find out.
And it was semi-local boy Larry Ward pressuring LaRocco early, but pressuring himself right into a mistake, letting Lamson by.
LaRocco with the speed. Out in front, it's Doug Henry with Emig through the whoops. And while battling for the lead, Emig went down. Left a lot of space for Henry, but LaRocco was on the move. As Mike LaRocco Sr. says, pick it up. And LaRocco did. Putting the heat on Doug Henry.
He puts more than heat on him right here, right into the side. That's what you call a T-bone. Henry goes down and loses all these positions. And
it became a battle of Kawasaki's as Mike Kudrowski started putting the heat on LaRocco.
He came on strong in the closing lap. You'll see how close they finish. And another lap or two, who knows? Kudrowski could have taken it.
The first of 3 wins on the season for Mike LaRocco as we go to our Suzuki highlights from the qualifying heat number 1. Mike LaRocco would get the lead. Henry, Kudrowski, DeHoop, Lamson, and Craig in good position.
But it was Doug Henry, number 4, right here, coming through the whoops, putting the heat on LaRocco for the early lead.
Watch what happens now as LaRocco sets up for the triple. We take a look at the Honda triple cam, and he hits just a little short. Henry breezes by, and then the mistake by LaRocco.
Looked like a hay bale out in the middle of the track for LaRocco. Good news for Henry as he goes by for the lead.
Craig then had his problems. He handed LaRocco the final transfer spot when he went down. It was the battle for second and third, David.
Between Kudrowski and Steve Lamson right there doing the triple into the corner, but it was Mike Kudrowski holding on to that inside line.
For his second heat win in a row, Doug Henry, and it was the fastest qualifying heat of the evening.
Looking fast and smooth as he crosses it up for his second heat race win.
Taking a look at the official results from Suzuki heat race number 1, Henry, Kudrowski, Lamson, and LaRocco go directly to the main event. Our Suzuki highlights from heat number 2, Jeff Emig to get the whole shot.
Well, he bursted out to an early lead with teammate John Dowd in tow, but it was Ezra Lusk on the move, flying through the whoop section, couldn't make the turn, but at least this time he keeps it on 2 wheels.
Emig would get the whole shot and lead every lap for his first heat race win of the season. But in back of him, here's the battle. Jeff Dement, number 77, goes down. Larry Ward takes his spot.
The slick track taking its toll on a lot of riders, and Jeremy McGrath coming from 8th place, passing Swink to take the final transfer spot.
Up front, Dowd in 2nd place behind Emig, and Ward, it tightened up.
Look at this battle between Larry Ward and John Dowd. John Dowd shoots to the inside, gets sideways, and gives it back to Larry Ward, who holds on to the number 2 spot and closes in on Emig.
Jeff Emig, his finest heat qualifying race of the year, as he takes the victory, holding off Larry Ward in our Suzuki highlights from heat number 2. So it's Emig, Ward, Dowd, and McGrath making it directly to the main event. Michael Craig has become an expert at winning semis and bringing the fans alive. As early as the 4th lap, Craig was doing can-cans off the triple. Behind Craig's whole shot to Checkers win, Todd DeHoop went all the way in 2nd place.
There's the battle for 2nd place. Doug Dubach, number 28, going into the crowd for some popcorn. Can't make the corner, drops 2 spots.
Josh Steele slips into 3rd place. So the final 3 qualifying spots, as 5 come out of the semifinals to go to the main event, is right there between Josh Steele, Dubach, and Decker. Michael Craig with another impressive semifinal ride. Nothing but privateers going to the last chance qualifier as Craig, DeHoop, Dubach, and Steele advance to the main event. Our highlights from semifinal number 2, our Honda track cam gets clipped by one of the riders. That is an unmanned cam, David.
Well, I sure hope so. Meanwhile, up front, it was an excellent battle for the lead between Ryan Hughes, Lusk, and Jeff Dement.
The former world champion, number 111, Greg Albertine, also making a good move. This is his first race back after taking some time off with injuries.
But the award for the fastest guy through the whoop section had to go to Ezra Lusk. He takes over the number 3 spot again and sets his sights on Ryan Hughes, but it's not over for Lusk.
He rocketed back into the lead, taking both Dement and Hughes. Then the Bonsai Lusk hits the deck once again. looks back to see where Hughes is, but watch what happens to Ezra.
A little bit too bonsai through the loop section. Down he goes again, and he hands the lead over to Ryan Hughes.
Hughes continues to look impressive on the 250s while he took the checkered flag. We had Kyle Lewis, number 15, who started in 6th, making his way up through to also go to the main event. So it was Hughes, Lewis, Dement, Swink, and Albertine would qualify. Lusk, the only factory rider on his way to the LCQ. He would win that with Buddy Antunez taking the final gate position. So the field is set for the 250 main from a beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's listen in to a Roger DeCoster Suzuki riding tip.
Many people enjoy racing on the weekends, but for the top factory stars, a lot more goes into winning than just showing up on race day. Even the fastest bike can lose a race if the rider is not in top condition. There are a number of things that you can do during the week that will help you to improve your race performance on the weekend. Increase your endurance on race day by developing a physical fitness program during the week. Aerobic activities such as bicycling and running increase the heart's ability to function in an efficient way. These exercises also strengthen the muscles in the legs. Stretching is also important to increase the flexibility and decrease the possibility of injury during a crash. In addition to aerobic conditioning and stretching, all the guys on Team Suzuki ride as much as they can during the week to improve their coordination and skill level. In addition to physical fitness, it's important to keep a healthy attitude if you want to do well on the racetrack. Most of us started racing because it was fun, and it is a good idea to try to remember to have a good time while you're on the track. For the factory stars, racing is a business, but the top riders have also discovered that a positive attitude makes the job a lot more rewarding. Taking the time to take care of yourself can pay big dividends on race day. For Team Suzuki, I'm Roger DeCoster.
The U.S. Supercross Series on ESPN is being brought to you by Mobile. We are back at Charlotte, North Carolina. Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Marty Reed. A packed house. More than 26,000 of the most loyal fans you're going to find anywhere in this small stadium. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting grid for the 250 main event.
It's something that sticks in my mind right now, Art, is the fact that every time LaRocco gets pretty close to McGrath in the championship chase, McGrath just opens it back up with another win. So that's probably on both of those riders' mind, and the night hasn't gone that well for either of them. Both of them coming out of the heat race in 4th place.
McGrath looking to tie Bob Hanna's record of 27 career wins as we look at the butterflies starting to fly down there at the gate. Walking through the pits earlier, we talked with the top 4 contenders.
I'm concerned. We have 5 races left. Right now is the pending point. Usually it's before this, but since I've been, I either win or not on the podium, so usually I'm more consistent than that, but I've been having bad luck every three races that I've lost this year. I've been on the ground, so if I stay up, I have a pretty good chance of winning, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely consistency helps, always at the end. The more points you can get, the better each race. So, all I need to do is just keep getting him behind me and, hopefully win the races while I'm doing it. And I hope he doesn't make the podium when he is behind me. So it helps a lot in points, and, we're getting closer, but, not close enough.
Yeah, I've kind of, just kind of go with what the day is, don't, maybe for a while we were concentrating so much on the bike and the setup and this and that and everything, and there was like so much going on with me during the races, what tires, how the suspension's going and everything, and now I've kind of just concentrated, okay, I got 2 sets of tires. I'm going to run either set unless it's raining. And, we'll set up the bike right after the first practice, and then that's it. If we don't like that setup, we'll go back to what we had to begin with and kind of minimize everything and kind of take some of the, say, stress off me and think about the track, think about the race and stuff like that. And I think that's what's helped me out the last few weeks.
I've been getting 4th and 5th and not 2nds and 3rds. I'm still just as strong as anybody at the end of the race, and I'm going just as fast as everybody out in practice today. So tonight, maybe it's turnaround point. I might go from 2 back of where I started to 2 in front of where I started. I set my goals at the beginning of the year to be in the top 5, and after the first 5 races, I upped them to the top 3 for this series. And I still think I can get Mike back. He's only 10 points in front of me, and that's not that big a gap.
Also, David, they've been testing a new part, a 1995 part on his no-lean Yamaha machine, which has added a good deal of power. It was very noticeable in practice.
Well, it's evident in Larry Ward's voice. He sounds a lot more confident than he's been in the past, and he's going to need that here tonight.
That's good to see after hitting the podium 5 times in the first 5 races and being off the podium now. The start underway. Emig gets the whole shot. Henry, Lamson, Albertine, Ward, Craig, LaRocco, all right there. Where's McGrath? McGrath is about 9th or 10th position.
Well, he was slick, though. As we look at our Honda jump cam, McGrath was almost dead last into the first corner. He snuck around the inside and came out pretty good.
In true McGrath style. There's Emig, number 6. Number 4 is Henry. 5 is Lamson putting on a charge.
And look at this battle for the lead early on. The 2 Honda riders putting the pressure on Emig. Emig doing this big double over the plateau, looking really strong. He's got a different set of lines than everyone else, and already it looks like he's got a little bit of a lead now.
You can't get too far away on this small track, though. That traffic was interesting. Look at the whoop section. Henry skipping through him. McGrath was buried at the start to begin with, David.
Look how far back he is. He's dead last into the corner. He knows there's nowhere to go. So put on the brakes, cut to the inside. He does it perfect. Sucks up a banner in his wheel. That could have caused a lot of problems to spit it back out. But look at the places he made up by taking that inside line.
Meanwhile, out front, Emig is being hassled by Henry and Lamson, a tight 3rd. One of Lamson's best starts of the year. From the Honda jump cam, they're sailing by.
And Emig nailing the whole shot lately. He's led a long ways in Houston and leading here again tonight. Appears to have everything under control. Usually a rider that kind of holds everybody up, but right now he's riding a fast pace.
LaRocco getting by Ward, taking on Albertine. It was a good start for Albertine in his first race coming back from the injuries. But number 2, LaRocco, is on a dedicated charge to catch up with Lamson.
Taking kind of a weird line way to the outside. Looked like it paid off as he gets to the inside of Greg Albertine and finally makes the pass stick, and here comes Larry Ward up the inside.
LaRocco and Ward headed for the whoops now as we look at the battle for the lead. Emig and Henry. Henry number 4, bar to bar on the triple.
Henry a lot faster in the whoop section. Appears to be making up a lot of time. Takes the inside. Looks like he's got the lead. Oh!
Henry goes down while in 2nd place. That moves them all up. LaRocco into 3rd. Ward into 4th.
What a bad break for Henry. When you go down early on like that on a track this tight, everybody goes by. Now he's way in the back of the pack, and it's a bummer coming out of that heat race.
Emig with Lamson right on his tail. Take another look.
Henry on the inside, possibly hit his front brake lever on the elbow of Jeff Emig, locking that front wheel. As slick as his track is, that sent him right to the deck.
Emig taking a little bit of time coming out of that section, and Lamson was not hampered by Henry. He's picked up the gap, and look at Lamson. Lamson, this is his best Supercross of the year so far.
And Emig looking strong everywhere but in the whoop section. That's where everyone's making up time, and I think Lamson senses if he can get around Emig, boy, he'd be a great buffer for everyone around, and possibly Lamson could get out to an early lead.
We've got a tight group here as Lamson. He takes the lead from Emig. This is his first lead of the year. Can he hold back the Chargers? We'll find out after this. In Charlotte, 250 main event. Mike LaRocco making a charge. Out in front is Steve Lamson, but they're fairly tightly grouped right now. Look at number 6. That's Emig. LaRocco to the inside. Jeremy McGrath and Larry Ward. A pack of 4. McGrath now in 6th place.
Well, he's come from pretty far off the pace. You saw how bad of a start he got. He's up in the thick of things. Right now, Emig appears to be holding up the pace. A freight train of riders behind him, and Lamson's getting away.
Larry Ward passes both LaRocco and Emig. Oh, he's got a battle on his hands, though. Here comes LaRocco, number 2. McGrath is just waiting, watching for mistakes.
Well, there's going to be a lot of them here tonight. I think you got to be really smart on this racetrack. I mean, you got to be aggressive, but you've got to be smart. And right now, Larry Ward is looking sharp.
Emig trying not to give up that 5th position to Jeremy. Lamson out in front, but it's Larry Ward and Mike LaRocco battling for 2nd place. Don't rule out number 1. Jeremy McGrath is just behind them right now. Ward in 2nd place. Earlier, Marty Reed went looking for some of Ward's secrets.
Larry Ward is one of the tallest riders on the series. He stands 6'3", and earlier this year, he was having a heck of a time keeping his butt on the seat. Now, they tried glue, but that made it too sticky. So what they've come up with, and it's ingenious really when you think about it, is untreated rubber. And if you put your hand on this, you can see, I mean, it has some definite traction to it. It's similar to what you'd find if you were at a drag strip or a racetrack where a lot of rubber had been laid down and it's hot and it's tacky. It gives new meaning to the phrase, get a grip on it.
Right now, Ward's got a pretty good grip on second place, but nothing is assured on this track. Emig has got a battle on his hands now with Jeremy McGrath. He makes the move. Nice block inside. Makes an easy pass.
Well, it's easy, and Jeff Emig is really slowing up the pace. He was riding so defensive right there. It's pretty easy for McGrath to make that move. Now McGrath into fourth spot, and pretty clever and not far out of touch with the leaders right now.
Let's get on to Marty.
I see on the sign you keep telling him to breathe and relax. I'll tell you, it looks like it's a holy terror out there. It looks like there's only one line.
Yeah, but if he stays focused and does just that, breathe and relax, he'll do real good.
Here he comes right by us again. He's in the lead by a good 4 to 5 bike lengths. In fact, it looks like everybody is fighting behind him, which is going to let him get a bigger lead.
Yeah, so long as he rides smooth and lets these guys bang bars behind him, I think he'll do real good tonight.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Lamson, number 5, still in the lead with number 11, Larry Ward, right there. Ward made a little mistake about a lap ago. Let's go down and listen to Clint Berry, his mechanic. He's with Marty Reed.
Clint, I just saw you give him a sign saying it's yours. He's in second place. You're that confident he can take him?
Yeah, I really think he can. You know, the last 3 weeks things haven't gone our way, but we're really working on it, and I really hope we can hang in there. You know, we just keep on Lamson.
He's got it closed down to about 3 bike lengths. What's been the difference? Because there's that stretch here recently where he couldn't find anything better than 5th.
Well, basically we had a few bike problems. We've been working on it, getting it all working better. He's really happy. Let's hope we can do it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, right now with Lamson, Ward, LaRocco, and McGrath, it's anybody's race.
Anybody's race. And right now, I think you got to look at the championship point standings. If McGrath can get up there and steal a win and hopefully get a couple of these guys between he and LaRocco, that sure looked good in the points.
LaRocco still testing Ward for second place. Lamson with a pretty good little lead out in front.
He's riding the best I've seen him ride all year. You know, sometimes you get buried in the pack and you ride great, but you just don't have the results to show for it. And right now, he's definitely got things going his way as LaRocco is trying everything to get around Larry Ward.
Ward just barely holding him off lap after lap, and now LaRocco has the corner he wanted.
He's been working that outside line every lap, trying to make that pass, finally makes it stick, and guess who was watching? Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah, Lamson, LaRocco, Ward, McGrath in that order, and boy, this points race could tighten even further with a LaRocco win, that's for sure. I guess the big question is, can the other riders hold McGrath off the podium? We'll be back in a moment.
My name is Paul. Have you heard about the Extreme Games? For the first time ever, 9 same but different athletic contests never before brought together will be brought together here in small, scenic Rhode Island. 9 sports of the future up until June 24th. You have nothing to be scared of. Okay? Okay.
We are back in Charlotte with all kinds of excitement. Lamson's out in the lead, but here's a battle for second, third, and fourth. Ward and Jeremy McGrath battling. Oh, LaRocco was slowed down. He must have hit that second triple very hard.
He's holding his arm off the handlebar.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of like what happened to Pichon earlier in the day. He must have come up short and cased that and bent his wrist. Now, he's had lots of problems with wrists over the years, and it appears as though he's out for the race.
Not only out for the race, though, this is a big damper. It puts him out of the points race as well. And it depends how serious it is. Could it mean some of the outdoor races?
Well, I can tell you, Mike LaRocco is one of the toughest riders out there. There you get a look at his dad, obviously very concerned. And Mike is able to do quite a bit under a lot of pain. I would think that's broken.
Jeremy McGrath and Ward now in good position to make an attack on Lamson.
And it'd be interesting to know what's going on inside of McGrath's head, because by now he's got to know that LaRocco is out of the race, and that's going to give him a huge points lead in this series.
Boy, the pain must be shooting down that whole portion of the arm.
Well, I can tell you, I've injured wrists before, and there's nothing quite like it. It hurts so bad, and he's probably just doing whatever he's got to do to make that pain go away. I don't think it's going to, and right now there's got to be a million things going on inside of his mind. The championship's gone. The outdoors are coming up here in a couple of weeks. And is it broken? Is it not? What's going to happen?
LaRocco not finishing one of the motos in the first outdoor race at Gainesville, too. This would put him way behind.
Well, it's just a heartbreaker for the guy. He's so talented and strong, and he never gives up, and he's just got all these problems to contend with.
Lamson taking the lead over early in the race from Jeff Emig, still leading, but here comes number 1, Jeremy McGrath. He's looking for his 27th career victory. Mike LaRocco walking back to the ambulance. That's his mother, May, to his right. They've got a field x-ray machine back at the ambulance, and they'll be taking care of Mike LaRocco. A sad day for him. Jeff DeMent, number 77, is a lapper as number 5 as we take a look at the Honda stopwatch and see the interval. The lead that Lamson has on Jeremy McGrath, about 3.5 seconds. Ward in 3rd place. Emig in 4th, number 6. And look at number 9, the 125 rider out west, competes in the Eastern 250 circuit, Ryan Hughes. A nice job.
Looking excellent. I'll bet he wishes he could ride the 250 every week. That's where he has the most success.
Henry, after his crash early in the race, trying to catch up through the field for points.
And Henry, I think if he can't be in the top 3, I don't think he really cares. I know he deserves to be up there. He's a good enough rider. He had the fastest heat race, looked like the fastest rider until he went down. It shouldn't be too long before he picks up his first main event win.
Let's check out the Honda stopwatch now. The 125s made a lap in about 50 seconds, and we got 47.3 for the 250s.
Yeah, the 250s aren't usually that much faster, but apparently tonight Lamson's got a pretty fast pace, and rightly so. He's got McGrath breathing down his neck.
Well, especially on a tight track where your 125's lighter, easier to move around a little bit. LaRocco having that glove taken off the right wrist. Ooh, that's got to send a shock through your system.
Yeah, you can see the pain on him, but really, I mean, most people, if they had a broken wrist right now, they'd be making a lot more faces than he does. He's a tough customer.
Back on the track, it's Lamson out in front, but not far behind is Jeremy McGrath and Larry Ward. Lamson into the corner. Oh, a little bobble there. He's going to be disappointed time-wise. Marty's now with the Rocket.
Mike, this is not the way we wanted to talk tonight. Take us through what happened out there.
Well, I just moved into 2nd, and I landed a little hard off that triple, and I was tripling into the corner, and when I hit it, my front end dropped, and I nosed right into it. My arms were bent all the way back, and when I came up, I think it broke my wrist.
Have they given you any word on your wrist? Is it sprained or is it worse?
I think it's broke.
How are you going? Tough luck, man.
Well, that painful look on Mike's face pretty much says the story, but I think more so emotionally it's got to be so tough, because now there's no way he can win the Supercross title, and the national championship is in question.
Incidentally, we've got confirmation that Pashon's injury was a sprained ligament to his right wrist. Back on the action now. Lamson out in front is really being tested by Jeremy McGrath. McGrath pretty much sizing him up right now. No mistakes for Lamson in the whoops as he takes the corner. And Lamson bobbles again. Here comes Jeremy. Oh, my goodness. Jeremy looks back at his teammate as he takes the lead on the final lap.
The slick Charlotte track got the best of Lamson in that corner. I think he just lost the front end and just handed this win to Jeremy McGrath for the last lap.
A heartbreak for Lamson in his finest Supercross of the year.
A mistake by Jeremy right there. Almost went down. Had to put his foot out, and Lamson is right there within striking distance.
Well, Lamson doesn't want to bump his teammate, that's for sure. His record-breaking teammate. And Jeremy McGrath now has tied Bob Hanna with 27 career wins. Larry Ward right behind Lamson in 3rd.
Good ride for Larry Ward and a great ride from Lamson. I saw him do a little fist pump over the finish line as though he'd won the race. So he's obviously happy with 2nd, although I think he could have dug just a shade deeper. He could have come up with a win here.
So McGrath, 1 win away from Rick Johnson's all-time record, and we'll be back in a moment. To get it. A beautiful evening in Charlotte, North Carolina, as we see the skyline of the Queen City. The rain holding back for a wonderful evening of racing, but a big turn of events as far as the 250 scene is concerned. Mike LaRocco's injury putting him out of the points race in Supercross, and a tough time for the outdoor season. Here's the official results. McGrath, Lamson, Ward, Emig, Hughes, the top 5, with Albertine making the top 10. Let's go to Marty Reed. He's with our 3rd place finisher, Larry Ward.
Larry, I got to tell you, the last 5 races no better than 5th, back on the podium. What was the difference tonight?
Well, we got this no-lane scissor Yamaha. We've been doing some testing. I got to that first turn a little quicker tonight, and it was a tight track. I was actually really nervous up there. I haven't been on the podium in a long time. The last 4 or 5 laps, my arms pumped up pretty good. I was hanging on for dear life. But towards the beginning, I got by LaRocco. You know, I was riding real good. This will boost my confidence again. I told myself first 5 races I was on the podium. There's 5 left. I'm going to be on it every time. So I'm started on my way to my goal for the rest of the season.
Well, see, I'm disappointed. I thought you were going to tell me it was that untreated rubber that you're sitting on that glued you to the seat.
Well, that's what helped me get the good start. No, honestly, I rode strong. I've been riding real hard. I've had some small irritating injuries the last couple races, and we got this no-lane scissor bike running real good, and I'll be back up to the rest of the year.
Jeremy well on his way of tying another Bob Hanna mark, 3 consecutive Supercross titles. The real battle between Kudrowski and Ward. Let's go to Lammy.
Steve, I know you wanted to be in the #1 slot, and of course it ends up being your teammate who's going after unprecedented records. Take us through it. What happened?
I got a decent start, and I just kind of held back behind a few guys, and I just got by the front guys right away and just kind of rode with my head down and looked ahead. And you know, Jeremy was coming up on me, and you know, I didn't realize there was only a lap left. I thought there might have been 2 laps left, and I should have had him, but I kind of lost the front end in the corner after the hoops over there. I kind of lost it, and he kind of went underneath me, but I'm happy. I mean, I was a little nervous being up there. I haven't been up there all year, so I'm happy getting second, but coming that close to getting first, I kind of bummed out.
Steve Lampson led for 16 laps. When on the very last lap, Jeremy McGrath took it over for victory. Marty Reed is with Showtime.
Well, by now you know the mark. He's now tied with Bob Hanna. 8 wins this season, 27 in the career. When does it ever end? I mean, tremendous performance again tonight.
Well, it's nice to get back on track. You know, like I said, I haven't won in a month. You know, we've had 2 weeks off out of 3, and this is the 4th weekend, so I'm happy to get back on track here at Charlotte. You know, Pontiac, I had a little bit of bad luck, and, you know, it's great to be able to tie the record of Bob Hanna and soon to maybe tie the record of Rick Johnson and beat it. But, you know, first thing I'm looking at is that championship, and tonight I was trying to ride a safe, smooth race because the track's really tight, and, you know, there's not much room to pass, so I was waiting for mistakes.
I got to ask you straight up. I mean, the heat race, it looked like a horrible start. This one looked like a horrible start. What was your evaluation?
Well,